Watching the replay right now. Today we're hanging out and we're going to be talking about diet. We're going to talk specifically a lot about why when I stopped thinking about getting more protein, it actually helped me to cut lean, to be more lean. So I know I have to show you my body so that you know what I'm talking about. So I had to actually think less about getting more protein, and I'm going to talk about what I do think about more. And this is actually what helped me to feel a lot healthier, to cut fat, and to only work out like literally maybe an hour a week. Maybe a little more. I work out maybe about 90 minutes per week. I do mostly pull-ups, push-ups. Maybe we'll work out a little bit on the stream just because maybe that's how I'm feeling. But the main thing I wanted to share with you is that all of the information about how to build muscle and how to be healthy in the year 2025 on planet Earth is actually shaped by a lot of corporate agenda and corporate incentive. So a lot of information about how to build muscle was originally sourced by a lot of propaganda and corporate incentive for meat, dairy, and egg industries. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of that. Okay. What does that mean? So, first of all, I wanted to say that when I stopped thinking about eating more protein, I actually started to heal my body more. So if you don't know, about a year ago, I started this thing called the medical medium diet. What's good? And actually, within a year, allowed me to completely heal my eczema, my chronic illnesses, my allergies, and so forth. Yeah, we're just going to chill out. I'm going to wait for some people to come on. We're going to ask questions. And yeah, here we are. This is the magic of being live, is that there's no cuts and you're fully there. What's going on? This morning, I gave myself motion sickness because I was headbanging to this guitar solo. I don't know if you know the song Free Bird by Leonard Skinnerd. Yeah. All right. Hello, welcome. We're drinking some herbal tea. Very yummy. Yeah. Yeah, so the main thing that I wanted to communicate today is that there hmm, maybe I should make this like a short or something instead of a live stream. What's going on? Interesting. Yeah, thanks, man. I I got shredded actually when I stopped thinking about eating a lot of protein, and I was doing the medical medium diet, so eating a lot of fruit and drinking celery juice and eating a lot of vegetables and fruit. Like I have meat sometimes. I had chicken the other day, right? It's okay to have some meat, but most people, when they're thinking about gaining muscle, they're like thinking about how much protein can I get. So they're adding whey protein to their smoothies, they're eating yogurt, they're eating extra meat. And what this actually does, many people don't realize, is that when you're eating these high protein foods, you don't realize you're actually increasing your fat intake massively. So meat, chicken, fish, pork, beef, all of it is a lot of fat. Got to turn off my my notifications here. When you're increasing your fat intake, because you think you need to eat more protein, right? Gotta silence my notifications 1 sec. Some text messages. Hello, are we live? Yes, we are. So, most people, they are trying to eat more protein in order to gain muscle. But they don't realize that in the effort to eat more protein, they're also increasing their fat intake massively. Meat has a lot of fat in it. Even if you're eating lean meat, you don't realize that you're actually eating more fat. So if you're having chicken and rice, right, you're having eggs for breakfast, you're having raw milk, you're having yogurt, you think you're getting more protein and you think you're building more muscle. But actually what you don't realize is the main thing you're doing is you're having so much fat that you're actually overburdening your liver, because your liver needs to work really, really hard to digest all of that extra fat. Your liver, first of all, your body's not really made to digest fat very easily. Your liver needs to produce this thing called bile. When your liver produces bile, it allows fat to be broken down within your body, but it's a lot of work for the liver to do that. It's okay for humans to eat some fat, but what we don't realize is when we're eating massive quantities of fat, by thinking we're getting more protein, a lot of it's tied into propaganda. We're going to talk about that in a second, but you think you need so much more protein in order to build muscle, in order to get lean, in order to get ripped, in order to be strong. You think protein is the actual thing that's building your muscle. And the truth is that yes, your muscles do use proteins to build, but it's actually not requiring extra protein in your diet. You don't need to eat more of it. What you really need is to eat more clean carbohydrates that come from fruits, again, lots of fruits, okay, that come from watermelon, apples, berries, mango, papaya, plums, apricots, cherries, dates, this kind of stuff. And then also clean carbohydrates that come from fruits and vegetables as well. So potatoes, sweet potatoes, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, cabbage, etc. Okay, sweet potatoes, squash, pumpkin. All of these foods have trace proteins in them already. Okay, so you're not lacking protein by eating lots of fruits and vegetables. This is very important to understand. You're not missing out on protein. Nobody in our entire society is protein deficient and will never be protein deficient. Because what I learned from medical medium that I've been studying for years now is that the minimum amount, the average amount that an adult male needs to eat of protein is about 10 grams per day. That's like a healthy amount of protein, and on that amount you can build muscle, you can be strong, you can be fit, you can be lean, you can have a lot of energy, you can be healthy. And I don't work out too much. Like, I work out maybe like 10 minutes a day. Nothing crazy. I do push-ups. I'm not really in the mood to do them right now, honestly, but we've been lied to in our culture because of corporate agendas. It sells so much meat and so much dairy and so much eggs get sold because humans are convinced that protein is the main thing that builds their muscle. If they knew that actually fruits and vegetables is what builds their muscle, then there would be no reason to buy all of these things. Let me answer your question. Yeah, benefits of celery juice. So first of all, the celery juice helps with muscle building massively because the mineral salts in there, along with the critical clean carbohydrates, are actually the main thing that build your muscles. That the celery juice has so much electrolytes in it, like the most on Earth, okay? On planet Earth, the most. The electrolytes in there actually go help your muscle tissues to literally repair and grow bigger. And it's actually the same with carbohydrates. What the way your muscles are built is through mineral salts, number one, and through carbohydrates, number two, and through pushing them and exerting them, number three. That's all you need. Notice I didn't say protein. So think about gorillas, for example, okay? Gorillas have similar metabolic systems that we do, okay? They have similar digestive systems. Not even gorillas, but you just think of apes, right? Apes are very strong creatures. They have lots of muscle and they're lean, okay? Many apes eat, thanks Haru. Many apes eat mostly fruits and leaves and branches and roots and stuff, okay? Gorillas, for example, eat mostly leaves, twigs, and fruits. Okay, that's 99% of their diet. They literally just sit around all day and they just chew on leaves. They eat like hundreds of pounds of leaves a day. Okay, and fruits and stuff. Okay, gorillas are 500-pound balls of muscle. If you see a silverback gorilla, they're fucking. Hello. We're just making sure. So in order to boost the economy in the 1930s to get out of the Great Depression, there was massive marketing campaigns that promoted protein as the main thing that makes you big and strong. And this increased the sales of meat, eggs, and dairy. Yeah, the fat from meat is not really the best thing for you. It's not horrible. It's okay to have fat from meat. But the problem is that you end up clogging your liver if you have too much of it, because you don't understand that you don't need as much protein as you think you do, so you're not focusing on the bare essentials that you need in order to build muscle and to be healthy, which is fruits and vegetables. Instead, you're focusing on how do I get more protein? And then when you think about the wrong thing, because your mind doesn't understand how health and diet actually works, then you think about the wrong thing, and then you eat the wrong foods, and then you get the wrong results. Wrong results. The wrong results. Sorry, I'm just fruits and meat though, bro. Yeah, bro. My information is different from your information, and you absorbed information from a different source than me. So I have different sources than you do. So you're saying something as if it's like obviously true, but I don't think your belief system about diet is actually very accurate. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude here, okay? But we're trying to open our minds and think about a different thing. This is a subject I've been studying extremely deeply. Am I being reactive? Maybe I am. I'm not, no, listen, meat, okay, it's not, I'm not being reactive, okay, I'm just a little bit zooked. Yeah, no, I agree. So it's not a political thing. You're totally right. I hear what you're saying. It's not a political thing. I don't care about the morals of eating meat. I like meat. I eat meat. So I have chicken, I have beef, okay? I eat it sometimes. But it's so important to understand that you're not getting key nutrients from meat. This is so important. Meat is not actually giving you nutrients that your body needs to thrive and to be healthy. Meat is not necessarily healthy for you. It's not really that unhealthy. So chicken and steak, for example, is not really going to harm you if you have it with the right mindset. But people are eating meat as though the meat is actually giving them nutrients, which it's really not, actually. What meat really does in your body is it takes up space in your stomach that could have just been more potatoes, more salad, more apples, more papaya, more watermelon, more fruits and vegetables, because what Medical Medium says, so all my diet info is coming from Medical Medium, which is the most advanced health information on planet Earth by far. And I've only made about 30 videos about it on my channel. Meat is not a source of nutrient and of healing, okay? It's not going to make you healthy. This is so important to understand. If you're sick and you have a chronic illness like eczema or a thyroid problem or brain fog or even cancer, Alzheimer's, PCOS, you have cysts, meat seems essential, but it ages you though. Fruit is great, but I'd rather die earlier knowing I'd knock any man out if they cross boundaries versus live longer and have a meeker disposition. Yeah. So what you're saying isn't true, basically. So meat doesn't make you stronger, is what I'm trying to say. And it is true that it ages you. That's correct. So you're right that meat does age you, but it doesn't make you stronger. This is the core thing I'm trying to say. Your muscles and your body don't get stronger from eating meat. They get stronger from eating clean carbohydrates, from sugar, from fruit, from vegetables. That's actually what gives you energy and power. Yes, protein does rebuild muscle. Does protein rebuild muscle? Yeah, protein does rebuild muscle, but not necessarily dietary protein. You don't need to eat more protein in order to rebuild your muscle. A lot of your muscle is rebuilt by rearranging proteins that are already present in your body. You literally need protein to repair your muscles. Protein is heavily concentrated in meat. So I understand what you're saying. I get that. What you're saying is like the key mainstream diet. You're giving me the mainstream perspective of diet. So what I'm trying to say in this live stream is that the mainstream perspective of diet, even if it seems rooted in science, or if you go to school and you study kinesiology or you study nutrition, I understand that. I understand the mainstream view. I'm trying to point out that the mainstream view is not accurate, and it leads to chronic illness because you have too much protein, which is fat, which clogs your liver, which prevents toxins from cleansing out of your body, metals, petrochemicals, and so forth. And then that makes you sick. It gives you chronic illness. It causes you to gain weight. People are calling me skinny. Bro, it looks masculine. So the point isn't to look masculine. You know, ripping a steak apart, hitting the gym, pounding iron, increasing your sexual marketplace value, while also eating lots of fruit. So that's exactly what I'm saying is, you don't actually care about like the truth of reality. You don't actually care about the actual truth of how your human body functions. You care about looking masculine to increase your sexual value in the marketplace. Notice those are two different things. Looking masculine to increase your social value is a different thing than caring about the actual truth about how the human body and reality actually work. Notice those things are not necessarily connected. So the idea is a culturally implanted idea that, oh, if I eat a lot of steak, I'm going to be big and strong, and then girls are going to want to suck my dick. That is not being masculine. That's more so wanting to look masculine out of a place of deficiency. If you want to actually be masculine, I recommend, first of all, realizing that understanding how reality actually works is important. You need to actually value the truth. And dude, you don't need to eat steak in order to get girls. Like, that's not how reality works. That's I'm so confused. Meat is goated. Okay. That's a good it's a good perspective, man. I already said there's nothing wrong with meat. I don't think you're actually interested in learning. I think you're just trying to tell me what you think. Yeah, meat's good for survival. It's true. But we underestimate that fruit grows off trees and it grows in abundance. And there's tons of. Okay, I don't think I want to argue about it. There's living water in the fruit that hydrates you, and there's tons of vitamins that aren't present in meat. It heals chronic illnesses. See, I'm not going breatharian, so this is good actually. This is good because I'm learning how delusion works. You're doing a good job of showing me how to not think well. Yeah, the breatharian route. Yeah, so again, so this is the whole thing that I'm saying. So because you are essentially insecure in your masculinity, that you think that you need to like eat meat in order to be strong, and that if you eat fruits and vegetables, that's like pussy shit. You know, like you're a breatharian, bro. Like you're a pussy. You know, you're skinny, bro. Again, I gotta keep flexing on you guys. It's so sad because like people literally don't listen to me unless I'm fucking like flexing like, bro. I literally do more push-ups and pull-ups than you do. So I feel like a dick. You know what I mean? That's not who I am naturally, okay? I'm not trying to fucking flex on you guys. You believe the fruit thing, so you make it true. No, actually, I read thousands of pages of books, and I spent the last 10 years opening my mind and doing personal development and exploring hundreds of different perspectives, and I tested about a dozen different diets. So, yeah. All right, man. Going to the gym in a bit. You're a champ, dude. Good for you. Meat, bro, gains muscle. So my friend, the chosen one here, all respects, this is exactly the kind of like mentality that I'm speaking about in our culture, that people aren't actually open to like changing their mind about the diet subject because they're afraid of like being a pussy. So I just wanted to say, like, I used to eat tons of protein, like 100 grams a day, because I was on the rugby team, I was on the wrestling team, I was working out like literally twice a day at the gym, so I was lifting a lot of weights, okay? And I was eating a lot of protein, but the problem was that also my eczema was getting worse, my skin problems were getting worse, and my seasonal allergies were horrible. So as I sort of like became more conscious, I tried dozens of different diets. So I tried veganism, I tried paleo, I tried keto, I tried a lot of different stuff. So again, it's not just like, oh, Adam, you believe the fruits and vegetables thing, that's what makes it true. It's like, no, I actually just like spent the last 2 years studying voraciously, reading hundreds of pages of books that you didn't read. So I actually used my logical, my logic in order to actually think about the true nature of reality over the last 10 years, and that's what caused me to make my decision. No, it's not about that it works for me and my body type. It's about I understand the way actual reality works, and you didn't even open your mind for half a second to actually test my theory. So you didn't test my theory. I tested your theory. I've done the meat thing is what I'm trying to say, and I still eat meat sometimes, and it's fine, but you are like just coming on telling me things about how reality works, but you didn't actually even ask me where I'm getting my information from and actually trying to test it for yourself. Okay, so you didn't you're like, oh, it only works for you and your body type. Did you test the thing I'm saying to see if it works? No, it's not a placebo effect. I don't manifest it. Yeah, okay. Who have credibility. Yeah, I do read books by people who have credibility, actually. Hey, bro, what's good? Yeah, bro. I had to spend 10 years actually contemplating, like, what does credibility even mean? Who creates the idea of credibility? Just because something is scientific, does that make it credible? Because there's a lot of bullshit in reality that's propped up by science. The question is it good quality science? Or is it biased science? are they good quality studies, or are they studies that are paid for by meat industries and by protein supplement companies? I've personally done a lot of research into this subject, and I've encountered dozens of studies that are actually paid for by protein supplement companies. These are studies that are in like medical journals. Like if I was writing a paper in university for my kinesiology degree, I would cite these studies because they're on those like official websites with all the medical research and stuff. I've gone into those studies proving that increased protein in the diet actually increases muscle growth, and they test against controls and stuff, right? So these studies, I've gone into their funding, who funded the study. I click on there, I have to go dig into the sources. I have to dig into the company that funded the study, what's their agenda, right? So you then find that these companies are connected with supplement companies that actually sell protein supplements. So they're paying tens of millions of dollars to get science, credibility, right? We're talking about credibility here. They get science done. They pay $10 million to get studies done, to use those studies in their marketing, but the studies are biased because they need them to come out a specific way because they're paying to boost their agenda, basically. They're trying to sell protein supplements. So they pay lab technicians, hey, we need a study that proves that protein builds muscle. Make sure the results come out in our favor, and we'll give you 20 million. And then they use that shit on their website. And then you call it science and you call it credible. But is that credible? That's the contemplation question of the day. Is that credible? If someone pays 20 million for a bot study, is that science? Yeah, don't just yeah. Oh, you're doing some LSD for tomorrow. Yeah, I kind of already gave all the advice I wanted to give in that video. Just to be careful. Okay? Be careful. Meditate beforehand, I recommend. Dude, you're right, man. Listen, Chosen One, I'm agreeing with everyone you're saying. You're right. Like, it is possible to manifest your belief system. I agree. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I trust me. I do challenge my ideas, which is why in my videos that are hour long, that you probably didn't watch, right? I actually go into all of these arguments and all of these rebuttals because I spend lots of time playing devil's advocate for my own ideas. And everything you're telling me is stuff that I already thought of. So I'm telling you, in spite of what you're telling me, that I'm telling you a perspective that you didn't study and you didn't think about, and you're not actually open to. That's what I'm saying. Okay? I think your ideas could use some challenging. So the glucose and the liquid that's in the apple and the water and stuff, it feeds your brain. It fuels your liver. So there's actually electrolytes in the water of the apple. It fuels your brain. It fuels your liver. It helps to purge and cleanse your liver. And the carbohydrates fuel your muscles as well. They help to produce ATP, which actually allow you to lift more. When you say fruit and meat, I need fruit and meat. What I'm challenging you on is you actually don't need the meat part. You can make massive gains, and what I'm trying to tell you is that I've been cutting fat and gaining muscle. I don't work out that much. I work out like 20 minutes a day. I do push-ups and pull-ups and stuff, but I could be working out a lot more, but most of my masculine energy goes into like creating content, right? If I was focusing more on working out, then I would be a lot more jacked, but that's not my life purpose. I like working out on the side. I don't work out as like the main thing that I do in my life. You don't really need that much protein to build muscle. Try what I'm saying. Just try it out. Okay, so try eating majority. By the way, if you said you're vegetarian before, I'm not talking about being vegetarian. I'm talking about the medical medium diet. That's a different thing. So that's not the same as being vegetarian. They're completely different level of understanding. Okay? I was vegetarian before too. I'm not talking about just being vegetarian. I'm talking about understanding how your body works through the medical medium information. So there's a lot of specific advice there that is not present in medical medium. Okay? So what I'm saying is you don't have to do this. Okay? I'm not forcing you. If you like eating meat and fruit, good for you. That's actually pretty healthy. All things considered, that's pretty healthy. What I'm saying, if you want it to be even more healthy, you might just try to question the idea that the meat is actually building your muscle and it makes you strong and stuff, because it's actually not. And instead of the meat, you could go less meat, right? So you can, instead of 10 pieces of chicken, you can have 1 piece of chicken, and instead for the rest of your stomach space, have more potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, pumpkin, bigger salads. How many salads do you have? Are they big? Do you have big salads? Or do you have like a couple leaves here or there? So you can fill up your stomach and feel full and be strong by adding more fruits and vegetables and leafy greens into your diet. So what I'm saying is that meat that you're eating, that piece of chicken, that steak, that 2 pieces of steak, you don't understand, that's clogging your liver if you have too much of it, because it's so fatty. It taxes your body to have to break down all that fat. And if you have fat and fruit at the same time, so if you have steak and let's say dates at the same time, you're actually increasing your risk of diabetes because you're spiking your insulin. So what I've learned in the medical medium information by studying it voraciously and deeply is that when you mix fat and sugar together, you make it very difficult for your body to uptake the sugar in your blood, which causes your pancreas to have to produce insulin to balance your blood sugar. Because you're supposed to be eating either clean carbohydrates from fruit, mainly on their own, and if you want to have fat, then it's good to have that with leafy greens to help that sort of digest. But if you're having a ton of fat and then you're having a ton of fruit at the same time, you are spiking your insulin, and it's not going to be the worst thing ever, but that's what causes diabetes and stuff. It's the mixture of fat and fruit, fat and sugar together. Yeah, man, if you're doing no sugar, well, first, yeah, if you're doing no processed food, whole foods and meat, I'm not going to stop you from doing that, okay? I think that's excellent. I think you're on the right track, and I think that that's a really good diet that you're on, okay? So that's pretty healthy. Whole foods, if you like meat and you want to keep doing that, keep doing it, okay? What I'm saying is, in addition to what you're doing, there's information from the medical medium perspective that you can use to add on to what you're already doing to make it even healthier. Like, for example, having celery juice in the morning, drinking lemon water in the morning can help your body flush, drinking more coconut water, having bigger portions of salad and leafy greens without vinegar, okay? Maybe lowering the eggs a little bit, because they feed viruses, lowering the dairy because it feeds viruses and clogs your liver. No, I don't know why it's seeming like a cult. I'm just okay, man. Humans have sought after meat for thousands of years. We hunted animals and foraged fruit. Yeah, Okay, so I hear what you're saying about the meat thing, but it actually doesn't have powerful bioavailable nutrients compared to an apple or leafy greens. You've been fed propaganda, actually. The nutrients that you're saying are so bioavailable in meat is not as bioavailable as literally fruit, which your actual metabolism, your whole system is designed to eat fruit. Your eyes are evolved to see fruit on trees. Your hands are evolved to pick them. Your teeth are evolved to bite them. Your saliva's evolved to digest them, the carbohydrates. They're hydrating. Okay, so I know you think fruit is good too, but I'm just saying that the whole meat is extremely healthy for you vibe is not accurate. And I'm trying to push you gently, just nudge you. Again, I'm not trying to change your mind, okay? You're smart, you're a genius, you're the smartest person in the universe. I'm not trying to change your mind, okay? If you're open though, I'm nudging you in a different direction. It's a new way of thinking. Perhaps maybe the meat is not the most nutritious thing that you think it is. It's not as nutritious as you think it is. I'm not saying it's bad for you. It can be burned for fuel. You can absorb some nutrients from the meat, for example, like Eskimos. They don't have any access to any fruit or vegetables at all, so they eat mainly seals. They have to hunt the seals in the ice. Those seals are eating kelp from the sea floor. That all those nutrients from the kelp gets stored in the fat tissues of the seal, and then the Eskimo, when they eat the seal's fat, they take in some of those nutrients. But it's actually, what I'm saying is, it's more efficient metabolically to just eat the actual kelp yourself. Okay, the Eskimos can't do it because they would freeze to death, and they can't dive down there to harvest the kelp. So they have to get secondhand nutrients from the animal that they're eating. But the problem that I'm trying to point out is that your mind is filled with propaganda that's actually benefiting meat industries, helping them to sell more products, because you think that meat is like a key part of being healthy. And what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not. You can be extremely, extremely healthy on a totally plant-based diet. Now, I don't eat plant-based. I like meat, okay? You can also be totally healthy and eat meat, okay? But I'm saying you don't need the meat. I'm saying... This guy's just like fucking... Sorry. Getting stun locked here. Dude, you're a stooge. Go somewhere else. It's okay. You can keep chirping me if you want. It's fine. You can be totally healthy on a plant-based diet. You could live 100 years and be extremely healthy and not touch meat for the rest of your life. And eat mainly fruits and vegetables. According to the medical medium guidelines and the medical medium information, yeah, you don't really need meat, because meat is not an essential part of being healthy, is what I'm trying to say. You're pushing a dangerous narrative. Your mind is just emotionally reacting to what I'm saying because it scares you. This is very interesting. So, I'm just encouraging you. You don't have to do anything, okay? If you don't want to change your mind, then that's fine. We can just hang out. I'm not going to force ideas down your throat. I'm on YouTube, okay? I'm trying to share information that's accurate for people who want to reach the highest levels of human development. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I've been extremely deep in personal development to the point where you may not even realize. I'm sharing with you a powerful perspective that could change your life, that changed my life, that's changing tens of thousands, millions of people's lives, helping them heal and reverse their chronic illness. If you don't want to believe that, or if you don't want to at least look into it, right? You're not even looking into it. You're just like disagreeing immediately based on ideologies. That's fine, man. I'm not going to shove info down your throat. Maybe I should go get a medical medium book and we can read from it together. That's such a good idea. One second, guys. Hey, my friends, I'm back. I got liver rescued here. I'm actually gonna get another apple. Do you guys notice that a lot of people kind of just like, you are worried that I'm not diversifying my knowledge base, but I'm actually telling you that I actually read hundreds of different perspectives, and I came across, after reading hundreds of different perspectives, which you didn't do, I decided at the end of that process that the medical medium info is the most advanced information on planet Earth because it has clear descriptions of what actually causes many different kinds of chronic illnesses that science has zero clue of what causes them. And it has just the most advanced descriptions of how the human body works. And how fruits and vegetables are actually healing tools that you can use to actually heal the human body of chronic illness. This information that's present in the medical medium information is more advanced than other kinds of information. Yeah, man, you're right. Everyone's got their own right life path. You can do whatever you want. I'm not forcing information down your throat. I'm telling you, this is the most advanced health information on planet Earth by far that does work for everyone because it's aligned with how the human body actually works. You need to understand there's a way that life works, okay? If you don't want to agree with that way, that's fine. You can do your thing and I'm not going to disagree with you, okay? I'm not going to force anything onto you, but I am here to stake my flag, to say the way things actually work. And this idea of like different diets work for different people, that's basically you just admitting that you don't know how to actually think critically and make distinctions in the nature of what's actually real and what actually works. Okay, this idea of like everyone's right, everyone, you just decide. That's not how it works. Okay, there is a natural order to the universe. There is a way that reality actually works, and I'm doing my best to share with you what I think is aligned with that way. Okay, but If you don't want to believe it, that's fine. You know, it's not my job to... Yeah, so here's the thing, is that I am aware of the traps of confirmation bias, of law of attraction, of placebo, and so forth, okay? And in spite of being aware of all of those things, I still think the medical medium is by far the most advanced information on planet Earth. And the problem at the end of the day, when the day's done, is that you never even read a medical medium book. So why are we even having a discussion right now? In fact, I'll do it for you. Let's do it, okay? Because you're trying to like disagree with me, but you didn't even read the thing that I'm telling you to do. So what are we even talking about? All right. Let's talk about the high fat trend. I don't know, I feel like reading from it is going to be a little bit, it's going to like disconnect us, you know. I don't want to like just read from this book. This is the book, okay? You read it yourself. I don't know if I want to read it for you. That just seems less fun. I'd rather just have a conversation, okay? But yeah, man, it's cool to disagree with me. You're allowed to disagree with me. I'm just pointing out that maybe you might want to read the thing that I'm telling you to read before you disagree with me. No, I'm not getting paid by medical medium. I just am sharing the most advanced information that I'm able to share. Yep, sometimes things do go against science. Yep, you know, Albert Einstein in the early 1900s went against science, and he actually evolved science by going against it. That's how science evolves, by going against it. Do you understand? You can't just... It's okay, man. It's okay. You'll get there one day. I got boogers all over my shirt, guys. I was blowing my nose and I had no tissue, so I wiped it all over my shirt. So I got boogers on my shirt today. It's okay, sometimes things need to go against science, like the whole quantum revolution, for example, went against science. That's how science works. In order to grow science, you need to disagree with the status quo. That's how reality evolves scientifically, okay? Science is not about you just believing what other people say. That's what you're doing right now. That's your science. You're just believing in the mythology of science. Okay, there's a 10-hour series on actualize.org about the myth of science. You can check that out. I watched that like 5 years ago and been contemplating it ever since. Let's use the levels of energy to explain my point. So according to Frederick Dodson's levels of energy, which I'd love to show you like a graph. I could share my screen, but I'd have to like switch. Can I switch from my phone to my laptop? I don't know if that's gonna work. Oh, I can just get my laptop. One sec. So there's a great point that Frederick Dodson makes in his book, Levels of Energy, where he's basically describing the scale of consciousness. Okay, let's open this image in a new tab. So you guys have probably seen this before. This is the scale of consciousness. You guys have seen this, right? So what Frederick Dodson says is that people who just believe in science are around the energy level of 200, where they're not actually able to think scientifically themselves. They just sort of believe science and they think they're smart for it. In order to actually be a scientist and to evolve science, you need to move into higher levels of energy, which is like 400, which is much higher than 200. So someone like Albert Einstein, for example, it resonates around 499, which is a very high level of energy, where he wasn't just believing in science, he was actually evolving science. He was thinking independently. So you're saying, Adam, what you're telling me goes against, scientific knowledge. But what I'm saying is that a lot of our scientific knowledge is corrupted by corporate interest. It's not good quality. It's really shit, actually, especially in the field of health. Now, in general, the mainstream science advice for health to like eat fruits and vegetables, to have lean meats, to not eat processed foods and stuff, organic foods, grass-fed meats and stuff, that's pretty good advice. That's not incorrect. I'm not disagreeing with that. Okay? Medical medium agrees with mainstream science, but adds it on top of it and goes further. So in the same way, non-Euclidean geometry, the quantum paradigm of science, doesn't get rid of the Newtonian paradigm of science. It doesn't invalidate it, but it transcends it and includes it. That's what I'm talking about here. So my health information I'm sharing with you is not getting rid of science. It's transcending science while also including it. We're building on top of it. I feel like that point went right over your head because you're too busy just like telling me what you think instead of listening to what I'm saying. Yeah, I can tell you're not really like listening to me because as I'm talking, you're just like, okay, let me read what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, man, you're very smart. Bro, they sell meats and fruits both. No, because meat is an industry, fruit is not an industry. There's a big difference. Fruit's a commodity, meat is an industry. That's why you see meat advertisements on TV, but you don't see fruit advertisements on TV because it's an industry. So don't tell me to critically think, okay? but you're making basic mistakes. Like, please. Meat is not as ancient as fruit. So this is we're going to do critical thinking. Ready for some critical thinking? Thank God. What would you recommend if I struggle with fatigue? Okay, so here's an actual question. So first, I just wanted to say before we answer your question, fruit and vegetables are more ancient than meat because they're easier to eat. Your bodies are clearly evolved to eat fruit and vegetables. Meat requires an extra layer of processing. You have to craft weapons, you have to kill an animal, then you have to cook it, right? You can't eat it raw, but you have to build a fire. So that kind of processing only came online 20 to 50,000 years ago. So fruit and vegetables are actually more ancient than meat. So if you're saying meat is ancient, actually I'm saying it's actually not that ancient compared to fruits and vegetables, which we were eating back in the times when we still had fucking tails growing out of our ass. Okay, so if you understand actual anthropology and evolution, which I like, then you're able to think critically. So don't tell me to think critically, okay? Okay, so let's actually help someone. What would you recommend I struggle with fatigue? So chronic fatigue can come from many different things. Medical medium says that it can come from many different things, mainly your adrenals. Okay, so let's talk about the adrenals. The adrenals are glands that sit above the kidneys that actually play a huge role in your energy levels. Okay, so it's one thing to just be tired a lot and need to rest. Like I'm tired a lot and I rest a lot, okay? I just lie down and chill out a lot, okay? But if you're actually struggling with like actual fatigue, what I would recommend is doing a medical medium diet plan. So I would pick up a book such as Cleanse to Heal, for example, and I would start thinking about my adrenals, okay? So the adrenals pump adrenaline into your system and they're mainly in charge of your energy levels. So some ways to take care of your adrenals and to restore them is, number one, to do a morning cleanse protocol. So certain foods I would cut out are coffee, absolutely. If you're struggling with chronic fatigue and you're drinking coffee, that's why, okay? Get rid of that shit, cut that out, okay? Coffee is dehydrating you and it's draining your adrenals like a prune when you ingest. Yeah, so coffee is actually going to make your fatigue significantly worse. Okay, because whenever you drink coffee, you're pumping adrenaline into your system, and then you're not having that adrenaline for when you actually need it. Okay, so I would cut out coffee immediately, and I would start drinking tons of coconut water. Okay, just pure coconut water without any additives. Okay, I would drink at least a liter of coconut water a day. That will help you to replenish, rehydrate. First of all, if you're using coffee a lot, you're probably chronically dehydrated and you may not realize it. So drinking lots of lemon water, especially first thing in the morning, lemon water, okay? If you can have celery juice as well, using that morning cleanse protocol that I've spoken about ad nauseum many times on my channel, having lemon water in the morning and celery juice, that can help you to restore and replenish your adrenals and bring them back. Okay? Instead of coffee, you should drink something like nettle leaf tea. So that's actually what I'm drinking right now. Nettle leaf actually helps to replenish your adrenals. It helps to restore them. Just gonna change my 1 second. Just gotta change my my source. We're back. Hello, let me know if you can hear me. So nettle leaf tea helps to replenish and restore your adrenals, along with things like licorice root tea and ashwagandha tea as well. These are all things that can help you massively with chronic fatigue, okay? Also, if you're struggling with chronic fatigue, a big thing is I would cut out fats in the morning, okay? So in the morning, your body really, really needs time to cleanse and to replenish itself. If you're having heavy fats in the morning, so for example, if you're drinking coffee in the morning and then you're having like peanut butter and then you're having eggs and then you're having protein, no wonder you struggle with chronic fatigue, because you're clogging your liver and you're dehydrating yourself. That's very difficult on your adrenals, okay? You're going to have massive energy problems if you're having a lot of fat in the morning and you're drinking coffee, okay? So instead, what I'd recommend is having huge quantities of fruit in the morning. All right, so I'm eating some raspberries right now. I have from my garden. I have a little raspberry bush over there, and I had a bunch of apples this morning. So this morning I had lemon water. I waited 15 minutes. I had celery juice, 16 ounces. I waited 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Then I had fruit, so I'm having apples, berries, and also my nettle leaf tea. Okay, so if you can do something like that every single morning, that makes a massive difference for chronic fatigue. Also, you need to be eating more leafy greens. When was the last time you had an actual leafy green salad that wasn't covered in vinegar and oil? How much spinach do you eat per day? No, there you go. So no, you don't feel, dude, this guy Chosen One is just like spewing nonsense. I don't know how he's still here. Yeah, you feel light and airy when you eat fruit because it helps you raise your energy. You feel dense and heavy when you eat meat because it's actually making you less conscious. Which is why you can't even listen to what I'm saying, which is why you're just yapping. So anyways, sorry guys. I've never actually. Yeah, so leafy greens is key missing in your diet, okay? If you add, you know those spinach containers? You know those plastic spinach containers that, you know, like the big box of spinach? If you have like half of that per day, or even a full one per day, I know it's a lot of spinach, this is what you do, okay? You take the spinach out of the container and you add some uh, pure maple syrup, okay, and some lemon juice. So you mix lemon juice, just a squeeze of lemon, some maple syrup, and then a big bowl of leafy greens, so spinach, arugula, lettuce, okay? Have that once per day, okay? The mineral salts that's in that spinach help to restore and replenish your adrenals, okay? You're probably missing that, okay? So if you eat leafy greens, so let's summarize what I just said, okay? Struggling with chronic fatigue. Number one, cut out coffee. That's draining your adrenals, okay? It's making you tired. It's dehydrating you. Instead, drink tons of coconut water. Have lemon water in the morning. Have celery juice if possible. And eat tons of fruit in the morning, okay? Later in the afternoon, have a giant leafy green salad, okay, with less fat, not too much olive oil, and no vinegar. If you do that, you're going to have a massive, oh wait, okay, yeah, you're gonna have a massive results for your chronic fatigue, okay? I'm happy with my weight, but I hit a plateau. I want to lose stubborn fat. What would be the best advice if I'm already working out 5 times per week? Okay, so listen. The problem with stubborn fat on your body is that your liver is clogged with fats and with toxins, okay? Nobody's going to tell you this. This is the most advanced health information on planet Earth. What they're going to tell you is to eat less carbs, and they're going to tell you to cut out carbs, and that's how you get rid of fat. That's how you get rid of fat on your stomach and stuff. That's not how it works. Okay, that only works because you're actually starving yourself in a sickly sort of way. So you're gonna lose weight, not in a healthy way, but in a sickly kind of way. If you want to shred fat off of your body, this is what I recommend. This is what I've done, and this is what works for me. Because this is how reality works in general. Number one, I highly recommend you go to Spotify. I don't know if you have Spotify or Audible, and you grab Liver Rescue, okay? And there's a whole chapter called Weight Gain, okay? If you go to Spotify, you can get it for free if you have Spotify. If you don't have Spotify, you can just go on Audible, or you can buy the paper copy of the book, okay? There's a chapter called Weight Gain. In this chapter, Medical Medium explains that the reason why you have excess fat on your body, whether it's 10 pounds or whether it's 100 pounds, is because your liver is fucking clogged. Sorry for my rude language. Your liver is very clogged with too much fat, okay? And too much fat comes from all of the protein that you're eating. You're overeating protein, too much protein, because all the protein foods that you're eating have tons of fat in them. Chicken, meat, even if you're having lean cuts, it doesn't matter. It's all fat. Dairy, eggs, whey protein, yogurt. These are high fat foods. They're going to clog your liver. This is why there's this thing that's very popular called bulking and cutting. Because since we're slamming our bodies with protein, which is fat, okay, the protein foods that we eat are full of fat. Since we're slamming our livers with fat, we get fat, because the reason why is because your liver can only digest so much fat at a time. Your liver's clogged. There's chemicals in it. There's metals in it. There's chemical fragrances in it. There's petrochemicals. There's viruses in your liver, okay? your liver gets overburdened and it has over 2,000 jobs in your body. If you want a description of the over 2,000 jobs that your liver plays in your body, many of which science isn't even aware of yet, you can check out this book, which I'm not being paid to promote. I just promote good information. That's what I do on this channel. Your liver has a storage capacity for how much nasty, disgusting shit that it can hold. Okay? This is very deep. Your liver's holding on to nasty, disgusting, rancid fats, chemicals, metals, etc. When you reach the storage capacity, which is only exacerbated by slamming your liver with fats from all of the chicken, all extra chicken, extra meat, extra eggs, 3 servings of meat, your liver gets clogged with fat. When your liver gets clogged with fat, your body then has to hold on to extra weight because your liver is actually trying to protect you. The reason why your liver stores these fats and these toxins is because it's actually trying to protect you. These toxins are so rancid and so poisonous that if they were to roam free in your body, you would literally die. You'd get sick if a lot of this shit that's in your liver was allowed to roam free through your body. So your liver has to process and cleanse and trap and store a lot of garbage, including many fats that you eat. Okay? When the storage capacity gets full, your body then needs to hold on to extra weight. Your body has to hold on to extra weight as a defense mechanism, as a layer of protection. What happens is this toxic sludge that is supposed to be trapped inside your liver and is supposed to be cleansed with lemon water, celery juice, lots of fruits, lots of leafy greens, lots of vegetables, etc. That's how you cleanse it. It's not getting cleansed because you're under the meat propaganda that benefits people's wallets, but it doesn't benefit your body. Okay, so you're slamming protein under the impression that that's what builds muscle. So you're slamming fat, your liver's clogged. Since your liver can't store the toxic sludge anymore that's inside your body starts to hold on to extra tubbiness. Okay, this isn't tubbiness, this is fucking skin. I'm actually like the leanest person you've ever fucking seen. Okay? I don't cut carbs. Actually, I eat mainly carbs. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm eating mainly carbs for an entire year. I have 10 bananas a day. I have an entire watermelon. I have apples. I have leafy greens. I have potatoes, sweet potatoes, dates. My dinner yesterday was a whole bag of potatoes and dates. Okay, so people who are telling you to cut carbs because that's how you lose weight. Clearly, that's not how you lose weight, okay? What you need to do is you need to cleanse your liver, okay? Because when your liver is clean, your body doesn't have a need to hold on to extra water weight, because the reason why it holds on to that extra water weight is because that's a layer of protection where the toxic sludge that's supposed to be trapped in your liver is now floating around in your body. So that it's so toxic that your body stores extra fat as like lymph. It's like this lymph fluid. It's not actual fat. A lot of it's water weight. You're storing extra water that's actually full of toxins. It's like this, there's this thick sludge that's just like floating around in your fat, which is actually water and lymph, okay? So how do you get rid of it? You have to take the plug out the bottom of the bathtub. Okay, what does that mean? You have to cleanse your liver, cleanse the root. How do you do that? There's a good book about it here, okay, with a lot of detail. You do a medical media morning cleanse protocol, lemon water, celery juice, lots of fruits in the morning, no fat in the morning. Your liver is cleansing in the morning. Don't give it fat in the morning. Give it more fruit and more leafy greens in the morning, okay? You can even have potatoes in the morning, okay? When you cleanse your liver, that takes the plug out the bottom of the bathtub. Your liver gets cleansed, it gets flushed. You do a nice healthy medical medium, a 28-day cleanse. You You do a 3-month, a 90-day cleanse. Okay, you're having your wild blueberries, your cilantro, your bananas, your potatoes, your sweet potatoes. You're having your nettle leaf tea and whatever. You're actually following the protocol for 28 days or for 90 days. Once your liver's cleansed, the fat will then drop off later. The fat takes time because the liver has to go first. The liver's cleansed first, then the fat drops off later, okay? What I just shared with you is the most advanced understanding of how health and how weight loss and how just muscle building and how being healthy works that you've ever received in your entire life. And I'm telling you because I've studied hundreds of different perspectives. I know what is out there in the field, what the nutritionists are telling you, what people are thinking in their minds. I know. And I'm telling you, it's crap. Okay? What I just shared with you is advanced compared to what else is out there. Okay? So cleanse your liver, okay, and have a majority of critical clean carbohydrates. Critical clean carb, have a lot of them. Have 6 apples. Instead of chicken, have more potatoes, more sweet potatoes, more leafy greens, more herbs, more celery juice, more herbal teas, more raw honey, more cabbage, more zucchini, more arugula, more spinach, more plums, more watermelon, more apricots, okay? Have more of that. Less on the fats, which you think is protein, but it's not really protein. It's actually fat. When you're eating yogurt, you're eating eggs, you're eating meat, okay? Meat is not as bad as the yogurt and the eggs, okay? So the yogurt and the eggs are like the devil, and that's gonna clog your liver as fast as possible. If you wanted to clog your liver as fast as possible, more eggs and more dairy, okay? That's the best way to clog your liver and to cause all sorts of chronic illnesses, because those two foods feed viruses and they make you sick. Now, I know there's this evolutionary argument, but our ancestors have been eating it. I understand that. It's a little bit complicated, but basically there's viruses that are around nowadays that weren't around thousands of years ago, and those viruses that live in your body and cause all sorts of ruckus, they feed on the eggs and on the dairy. Okay, so that's why we have to cut it out. I know it sucks. I know we love cheese. I know we love our omelets and stuff. But if you wanted to be fat and you wanted to be unhealthy and you want to have skin problems and bone problems and thyroid problems and hair loss and teeth problems and cancer and Alzheimer's and brain fog and chronic fatigue and all this stuff, then I would eat more eggs and dairy if I wanted to have all of those things. Okay, and if I wanted to pass them on to my kids as well. So, just to simplify, you want to get rid of that last 5 to 10 pounds. Not only are you going to get rid of that last 10 pounds, but you're literally going to become the healthiest fucking person that you can be. So what I just explained to you is literally how to clean your insides so that your body is so clean and is functioning so optimally that there's no reason for your body to have excess fat, because you're healthy from the inside out. It's not a fad. It's not a temporary fix. It's not like I just cut carbs for 6 months and then I'm so deprived of nutrients that I lose weight because I'm so sickly. I just told you how to be so fucking healthy that you lose weight. All right. Hey Queen, what's good? I was just talking about losing weight by being healthy and by understanding how diet works and by reading a book. Lose weight by reading. How was your trip, Queen? Excellent. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really glad that you received what I was saying. I really appreciate that. Um, so yeah, if you do have Spotify, this book is available for free. Listen to the weight gain chapter. Try and listen to the whole thing. If you listen to the whole thing, you'll have a better understanding of health than every single person you ever meet for the rest of your life. Okay? Even if they're a doctor, even if they're a nutritionist, I'm sorry. I'm spitting it as it is. I'm spitting the facts, okay? And challenge me, see if that's true. But definitely I would listen to Weight Gain. It's chapter 12, okay? You'll find it in the audiobook. There's another one that's really good that I recommend listening to. It's called The High Fat Trend. The High Fat Trend. That explains to you where this whole idea of you need all this protein and you need all of this chicken and meat in order to lose weight. You'll actually learn where that came from, the history. That's very profound to learn about. So thank you so much for listening. Good for you. Oh, good for you. I'm glad you had a good trip. You did it alone. Awesome, very good. Yeah, that's so good. I'm doing pretty well. I'm a little bit disoriented today because I was listening to this guitar solo in the morning. I was like banging my head to this guitar solo, and I ended up causing myself motion sickness because I was too crazy with it. So I was a bit of a weird morning for me. I feel a little bit nauseous right now, but I still wanted to come on live and just yap because it makes it yeah, man. I fucking gave myself motion sickness that I was lying on the floor sweating because I was so just nauseous and disoriented. So that was a really weird morning. I was actually about to send out an email to my list. If you're on my list, you can get on my list by grabbing my book list on my website. You can sign up on my website, adammiceli.com. I was about to send out an awesome email to my list about being natural and letting it be and being your authentic self and this sort of stuff. But I couldn't even finish my email because I was so happy when I was writing my email. I was literally having so much fucking fun writing this email that I was blasting this music. There was a guitar solo, Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. When the guitar solo came on, it just overtook my body and I was fucking just jamming like I would when I was a kid. I used to always jam to those guitar solos, but I was bashing my head too much that I actually gave myself motion sickness and kind of screwed myself. Yeah, I do make my own celery juice. Yeah, I recommend just kind of biting the bullet and just figuring out how to make it yourself because it's fresher, it's healthier, and it's a little bit annoying and difficult in the beginning because you don't know how to do it. You gotta figure it out, sort of thing. You may need to get a juicer, or you may need to use it in a blender with a cheesecloth, right? That's what I was doing for months. I was just blending the celery and straining it through a cheesecloth into a bowl and drinking that. But I recommend making it yourself because it's fresher, it's more healthy, it's more healing, and it's more sustainable that way. If it sits on a shelf or if it sits in the fridge, it loses a lot of its healing power. So if you have a juicer, if you know someone that has a juicer that doesn't use it ever, and maybe you can borrow it from them kind of thing, that's an excellent idea. And worst case, you can use a blender to blend the celery and then strain it through a cheesecloth into a bowl and drink it that way. I'm just warning you, it's a little bit annoying when you first start. You're like, oh my God, this is so much fucking work. But after a few weeks, you get used to it and it becomes a habit and it becomes autopilot and you almost do it without thinking. Today I did my celery juice and it almost I wasn't even thinking about it. All right, so I recommend doing it yourself. Yeah, juicers, some of them are expensive. Some of them are not that expensive. But yeah, there were times where I couldn't afford a juicer, so I was just doing it with the cheesecloth in a blender, and then that worked well for months, and I got great results from that. Yeah, man. Thanks. I hope the info was helpful for you. Oh, nice. That's so cool. Homemade cashew and almond milk. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's disgusting, man. Seed oils are actually not the worst thing ever. Like canola oil is really bad. Seed oils are not like the worst thing in the world, but you definitely don't want to be like having it in your fucking almond milk or whatever. That's gross. There's a lot of diet info out there that is hyper focused on like seed oils, or it's hyper focused on processed food, or it's hyper focused on can't even think off the top of my head. The oxalates in the fruits and vegetables are bad for you, or there's too much sugar is bad for you. The seed oils are bad for you, or whatever it is. A lot of that is just total shit information. It's just crap like from the garbage. A lot of health information. I'm just trying to tell you guys like it is. I know it's hard. It's hard for me because I just have this wisdom and I don't know how to tell you in a way that's like convincing. But 99% of the health info out there is just shit. Health info that's promoting fruits and vegetables and how healthy they are is good. Basically, a lot of the other info is usually like half true, or it's misleading, or it's just nowhere near as advanced as the medical medium info. Yeah, and people will be like, Adam, you're ideological. It's like, no, it's not that I'm ideological. I just fucking think. I don't care about medical medium. I don't care about him. He doesn't pay me. I don't know him. I know when information is more true than other information because I'm open-minded. People will be like, Adam, you're so closed-minded. All you talk about is medical medium. But it's like, you didn't even read medical medium. So who's the one who's closed-minded? You're like, I'm closed-minded, but you didn't even read the thing that I'm telling you about. So what are we talking about? Yeah, but yeah, Queen, the thing is, canola oil is like battery acid for your fucking kidneys and shit. It's horrible. Medical medium's really against canola oil. Um, yeah, balanced diet is an interesting idea too, because many of us don't even know what that means. Like, we don't know what a balanced diet even means. So that's why the medical medium info was so helpful for me, because I was getting more clear that what a balanced diet really means is that I'm getting a huge amount of critical clean carbohydrates from fruits, that living water that's in the fruits, tons of vitamins and nutrients in there, and then also the mineral salts that's in the fruits as well, and also in the leafy greens. No one ever told me that I need mineral salts from leafy greens, but it's actually key. That's what our ancestors have been eating for millions of years. We eat leaves. That's what we do. Um, so there's info out there like, oh, oxalates are bad for you or leafy greens are bad for you. It's pure bullshit. And many people will think that a balanced diet means that I need like eggs and I need like, pork and I need like chicken and I need dairy and all this stuff. So balanced diet uh, is not, it's, you're right that you're shooting in the right direction, and also to know more clearly what that actually entails requires looking deeper into the medical medium info, which I've spoken about a lot on my videos. Do I even work out? Yeah, I do work out. I do a lot of body weight stuff. So I'll do like rocket jumps. I'll do pull ups. I'll do push ups, dips, um, pike push ups. I do some weights. I do weights sometimes, but I just don't do it that frequently just because I don't want to. I feel like I look good enough, like I'm very satisfied with how my body looks. Um, despite people in the chat here earlier telling me that I'm a pussy, or that I have like a mid body or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, the outside is not. I don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but the inside, which the stuff you can't see, is literally A1 after drinking celery juice and cleansing my fucking liver for the last year, to the point where I completely healed my eczema and my allergies. The inside, what you don't see, is fucking blessed. Dude is low-key a chill guy. Low-key. I'm gonna have an apple. I do like body weight workout like 4 times a week. Yeah, it's okay. I don't take that stuff to heart, but it's just it's funny because that sort of style of thinking is very prevalent in our culture, and it just shows how underdeveloped we are as a species. Many men are so brain dead, like all they think about is like the surface of stuff, and women as well, right? Many of us are materialistic, surface oriented, and we don't realize that most of us are just functioning out of deficiency needs that Maslow talked about in his writings. Abraham Maslow talked about most people function out of deficiency. So that other guy, that was here before, was telling me like, Adam, meat is good for you because when I eat it, it makes me look masculine, and it helps me get girls. I'm like, okay, so is that how reality works? Like, based on, so you're thinking out of your deficiency and your lack. You're not thinking based on what is the actual truth. So that's exactly what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying might seem crazy, or it might seem radical, but it is radical because I've done a radical amount of self-development to the point where my mind is able to actually just look at reality and not bring all of my own personal biases into the investigation. I'm 25. I started personal development when I was 16. My teacher, Leo Gura, on actualize.org, basically taught me how to like study and research and learn and open my mind and grow. He taught me how to grow. So after 9 years of intense work, I seem like a crazy person to someone who has never done any growth ever. It's like that idea, Plato's allegory of the cave. The prisoner's chained against the wall looking at shadows, and then the one prisoner gets unchained, and then he leaves and he goes sees real life, and then he comes back and he tries to share the real life with all the other prisoners who are still chained looking at shadows, and they get mad at him and they call him crazy. Dude, you're crazy talking about the real world. The shadows on the wall are the real world. It's like, no, you don't understand, there's actually a real life out there. They're like, no, fuck you, and then they hit him and they kill him. No, I'm not in uni. I totally skipped out on uni because I like being smart. So I don't know why I would need to go to university. It's not where people become smart. I skipped uni and I just read like 150 books from like masters. instead of learning from a professor who's like a professor. Like, why would I want to learn from someone who's a university professor? Anyways, yeah, Plato's allegory of the cave. Have you heard it before? You should look into it. It's really beautiful. For a living, so right now I'm doing life coaching. I have like 5 clients that pay me like thousands of dollars a month. But I'm kind of like moving away from that a little bit, and I'm making courses now. So I'm moving more into like products that I can sort of share at a more affordable price, because that's kind of where my heart is at right now. So yeah, it took me a really long time to learn how to like do that kind of business stuff, but that's what I do for a living. Yeah, I know. When I was 18, I just decided not to go to university because I had already been watching actualize.org for like 2 years, and I had already read like 30 or 40 books about life, so I just felt like it wasn't really the place for me. It wasn't easy though. Running your own business is scary, but it's also very rewarding. Yeah, that's a good point. So a lot of people don't even realize a lot of the health information that's in school that you learn from becoming a nutritionist or a doctor or whatever. A lot of it is just indoctrination. I'm not saying it's all completely incorrect, but people will say like, oh, but you need to like listen to people who are credible, who have credibility. Does that really make you credible just because you absorbed like the indoctrination of the mainstream science? Now, listen, mainstream science is better than some quack who's just making up all of his health information out of his ass, and who's giving you snake oil, and or like telling you that you need to do like Reiki healing in order to like heal your cancer or whatever. So there is a place for the conventional model. We need to have conventional science, but we also don't realize that a lot of that is just indoctrination. There's not a lot of critical thinking going on there. You're not allowed to disagree with the science. If they show you a study and you look into the study and you see that it's been funded by a fucking dairy industry, are you allowed to disagree with the curriculum? Hey, this study that we're studying, it's actually corrupted, so I refuse to participate. You're gonna fail your class. So the point of university is you're pressured because of the tens of thousands of dollars that you paid for your program, because of the need for a job. You're pressured to agree with them. So is that learning? Is that critical thinking? Hey, prof, I have a question. Why are we fucking giving these people pills instead of telling them how to like actually cleanse their liver? Because I like, what if I said, hey, prof, I read this book, The Medical Medium Information, that is significantly more advanced than all of the garbage trash that we're learning in this class. Can we learn that instead? Because it's clearly more advanced and more effective, and I used it to heal my eczema and my seasonal allergies, and there's millions of case studies. The prof would say, sorry, we can't change the entire curriculum because it's not scientific. You'll have to wait 100 years until science catches up. But prof, in 100 years I'll be dead. Well, that sounds like your problem. Now shut the fuck up and start cramming for your test. So the university is not really it's not really like an environment where truth can actually prosper because there's too much survival bias. That's why I like being an independent researcher, because I can read whatever I want. YouTube doesn't really pay me. I get like a few $100s a month, like nothing, just from ads and stuff. Like I might turn on donations, but I'm not really making my living off YouTube. It's more so from coaching clients. Like YouTube is just my marketing. Is my marketing front, I guess you could say. So science has become a religion. Yeah, exactly. It's scientism. Yeah. What I like about Medical Medium is that he doesn't just rail against conventional science, he also rails against alternative science as well. He rails against a lot of like alternative healing, manifest your cancer away kind of vibes, or like, all of this, raw milk and collagen. And so there's a lot of alternative shit that's just as bad as the conventional shit. That's why I like Medical Medium so much, because he's not taking a side. We're not taking a side. We're just understanding how it actually works. And you can learn what that means by reading it. I seem famous. Thanks, man. I am famous. That means I'm giving off a good... Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. What kind of topics would you guys be interested in for future? Raw milk is not fantastic, and it's extremely bad for you. And I actually have a video, an hour-long video about it on my channel. Why? You are, number one, inhibiting the absorption of nutrients in your body because milk creates this film. I'm going to disagree with you. You're going to fucking hate me because you already believe your thing, okay? So what I tell you, you're not going to receive it because you don't actually want to listen to me. You're just telling me what you think. So I'm going to tell you what I think, but I know you're not going to listen to me, and it's going to make me frustrated, but whatever. Read what Medical Medium says about dairy. Instead of just giving me your perspective, listen to my perspective. Raw milk is not fantastic. It feeds viruses in your body. It feeds strep, which gives you acne. It feeds Epstein-Barr virus. It feeds herpes. It feeds shingles. It also clogs your liver. Okay? It clogs your liver and it inhibits nutrient absorption from fruit. So when you're eating berries and then you're putting milk in your smoothie, you can't absorb the full nutrients from the fruit because the milk is so fatty and has such a clogging effect on your insides that you're basically smothering your liver and of oxygen and you're smothering the berries. They can't get fully absorbed into your body. But you get all your info from Instagram, so you know better. No milk is better, dumbass. We're not talking about that. Sorry. I'm so rude. I'm a rude person. Everyone's nice. High five. I love you. Sorry. My meditation teacher would be very mad at me. No milk is good for you. It's baby food for cows, okay? There's hormones in it. They feed viruses. Yeah, man, do whatever you want. You can keep drinking it if you want. Check out what Medical Medium says about milk if you want or not. And that's from my perspective, what I learned This is my live stream, and we're asking me about questions about diet and stuff. It's not good for you. Yeah, even if it's grass fed, even if it's pasture raised, even if your Uncle Joe owns a cow and he loves it and he's very nice to it, the milk still feeds viruses in your body, it still clogs your liver, it still inhibits nutrient absorption, and it's still not good for you, and it won't help you heal and be optimally healthy. Wait, I'm confused. What are you asking, Hunter? How do I know all that stuff? So there's this really good source of information. It's called the medical medium. Leo Gura has an average understanding of health, but he completely rejects medical medium information. And Leo Gura, the greatest mind of our times, suffers from SIBO, which is already healed in medical medium info, and he also suffers from thyroid issues, which he refuses to actually open his mind to the medical medium info to actually do the protocol properly to heal. And I've had many arguments with him about it in his forum. Instead, he recommends people to take immune suppressants in order to deal with their thyroid. He said that thyroid problems are caused by an overactive immune system, which they're not. They're caused by a virus in your thyroid, which science doesn't know. Only medical medium brings that information. And he recommends his followers to take immunosuppressants in order to heal their thyroid, which doesn't work, and which is why he still has a thyroid problem and SIBO and stuff. Yeah, I just read books for knowledge instead of going to uni. Exactly. That's what I did. No, my source is not, trust me, bro. My source is medical medium, who has a track record of healing millions of people and who has thousands of pages worth of information that is extremely advanced and is actually rooted in science and is actually more advanced than science. All right, so fuck off, you fucking loser. Yeah, yogurt, kefir, butter, super bad for you. One of the worst things you can eat. If you wanted to have less acne, clearer skin, and just significantly more healthier all around, more vibrant skin, better hair, nicer teeth, all this kind of stuff, you would do well to get rid of milk ASAP. All kinds of milk, butter, dairy, cheese, any kefir, whatever it is, it's not good for you. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna cry about it. Yeah, a lot of people do have thyroid problems because our mainstream health information is completely in the dark about what causes them. And our medical establishment, which is scientific, you guys are on here telling me, like, where's your science? Well, if you are saying, where's your science? The mainstream science, if you had a thyroid problem and you go to your doctor, he would just give you a pill that you'd have to take for 40 years. But it's rooted in science. For 40 years, you're going to take a pill. You're going to pay the fucking pharmaceutical company millions of dollars of your hard-earned money, and you're going to be sick for the rest of your life. Or you can do an actual antiviral healing plan that permanently reverses the thyroid by killing the Epstein-Barr virus that's in your thyroid and neutralizing it and flushing it out of your body by having lemon water, celery juice, leafy greens, fruits, vegetables, heavy metal detox, etc. So yep, that's just how it works. That's the state of affairs, guys. That's what's going on. Fasting is not really recommended by medical medium because it's pretty tough on your adrenals. One sec, I have to switch to fasting's not recommended by medical medium because it's very tough on your adrenals and it's not really necessary. Medical medium, the point he recommends cleansing. following his protocol. It's the most advanced health information on planet Earth by far. Fasting is not recommended. It's really tough on the body. I've done plenty of fasts, intermittent fasting, water fasting, and then after I switched to this sort of setup, it makes a lot more sense. You're not supposed to fast. You're supposed to actually help feed yourself with lots of fruits, and you're supposed to cleanse. You're not supposed to fast. You're supposed to cleanse. So there's a difference there. You don't need to fast. Kefir is not a powerful food, and it's not good for you. And you didn't go look at the Medical Medium article about dairy on his website. And there's an article called Dairy Troublemaker that I made an hour-long video about. It's called Fuck Your Yogurt. There's an hour-long video on my channel called Fuck Your Yogurt. Go watch that video. It's an hour long, and there's literally just information from beginning to end about why dairy's not good for you, specifically going into the whole structure of the system that markets and promotes dairy on your Instagram feed, where I know you get all of your health information from your Instagram feed and your YouTube feed. There's planted information in there from dairy industries that actually seem to be rooted in science because the science is paid for. But the truth at the end of the day, when the day's done, is that it makes you sick. And there's millions of people with chronic illnesses that don't understand how to heal and how to actually become healthier because their minds are not able to just read a new perspective and just to be curious and to change their mind. Because here's the thing, how to get glowing clear skin? Take care of your liver. I don't know if there's is there a skin section in this book? My girlfriend's been doing this for over a year. She doesn't wear makeup at all. And she has the most glowing, clear skin that I've ever seen. And she doesn't wear makeup because she actually takes care of her liver like a champion. I don't think there's a skin chapter in this book specifically. But, yeah. Do the diet plan that I'm recommending. That's how you get glowing clear skin. I think I'm being very clear here, guys. Yeah, so natural milk from organic grass-fed cows, not good for you. I have an hour-long video about it. See, again, so you're just telling me what you like, but you're not actually like curious. You're just saying, I love milk, I love dairy, I love cheese. That's good that you love that. Dairy is king. Good for you. Awesome. Keep having it. That's fine. I don't care. But if you're asking me, if you're like curious and you want my opinion, right? Because you respect me, or you at least like are able to see that I kind of know what I'm talking about in this subject, I would say no, it's not. It's very bad for you. And I've made an hour-long video about it, okay? So guys, this is exactly what I'm saying in my videos, is that people in the health field, they don't think. No one's thinking. You're just perpetuating your beliefs. And you might say, Adam, that's what you're doing. Adam, no. Then you project onto me. Adam, that's what you're doing. You're the one who's perpetuating your beliefs with medical medium. Again, I am open to being proved wrong, okay? The problem is I've yet to come across a good enough quality argument that genuinely proves me wrong. Everyone's arguing from below, but the people aren't even familiar with the info that I'm suggesting to read. So how are you going to argue against me if you don't even know what you're saying? You don't even know you're just... I'm not being ideological. I'm just devoted to what is actually true. If next week I find a better argument or a better health perspective that's better than medical medium, I'll throw this shit out. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about I love milk. I don't give a fuck about what I eat even. I'll fucking switch. I don't give a shit. I'm not married to my foods. I just want to know what's true. Thumbnail got you? Buddy. Dennis, thanks, bro. We can, I'll send you my address and we can, just kidding around. Yeah, dude, I've tried organic raw milk from grass-fed cows, but have you tried reading the article that I recommended you read called Dairy Troublemaker on medicalmedium.com? Have you tried changing your mind? Listen, you don't want to change your mind, so I don't fucking care, okay? Don't listen to me. Go somewhere else. You don't have to listen to me. You can go do another thing. I'm correct, and like, what else do you want me to do? Okay, I've made an hour-long video arguing. You know how much energy that takes to make an hour-long YouTube video explaining my perspective? Okay, if you don't watch it and you don't believe it, and you're just because you just want to verify what you already believe, then what the fuck? Like, who cares? You know? Let's read about dairy since we're just so stuck on this one. We're really stuck on this one. It's good that you love fruit, man, but the dairy is going to make it harder for your body to absorb the fruit because it's so fatty, and it suffocates your liver of oxygen. It creates this film, but you wouldn't know that because I already made a video about it that already explained how it works. So I'm just a stooge, apparently. Liver troublemakers. Here we are. All right, dairy. Okay, let's read it a bit. Dairy is a pathogen food source. It's also highly mucus forming, causing mucus to collect within the blood vessels and cells of the liver, which weakens the liver's personalized immune system. Like eggs, you can completely rid dairy particles from the liver cells if you're avoiding it altogether. Now, cheese. Though it fits under the category of dairy, it deserves its own mention here because it has recently been reported as a longevity food. It's not. It doesn't protect you. This is an example of how science bends to certain interest groups. Cheese is another food source for pathogens that hinder and damage the liver. So it's a diabetes creating food. Okay, so this particular book doesn't have a really long section on dairy, but there is an extremely multiple page long article in the book Cleanse to Heal, but I just don't have that one with me right now. But I did make an hour-long video about it where I actually read from the article. As I mentioned, it's called Fuck Your Yogurt. What's good, everybody? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, fruits and veggies are GMO. A lot of them are, so organic is best. However, if you can't get organic and you can only afford conventional, or you only have conventional stores near you, you can still heal from having conventional fruits and vegetables. They're still healing. Just not as healing as organic, but you can still heal by having conventional celery, conventional lemons, conventional apples. Just make sure you're washing them well with a clean sort of dish soap, or a veggie wash or spray can help to get a lot of those conventional pesticides off the skin of the fruit or the vegetable. So if you are eating conventional, just be aware of that. Make sure you're washing them well with a soap of some kind. Alouette. I think I'm gonna go for a walk soon, guys. Gonna head out for a walk. Maybe I'll hop back on stream. Who knows? Yep. it is extremely complex and confusing, and that's why I love it so much, because I have a intelligent mind and I'm able to make high quality distinctions, because I like complicated things. I like puzzles. I like solving things, and that's why I'm sharing over here, trying to make it easier for you guys. Okay, trying to shortcut the work for you. That's how evolution works. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you on the next one. It's like noonish, not noonish. It's like 4 or 5. I'm ready to hop off though. Okay, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate your presence. Without you here, then I would probably have shut the stream off, because then I would just be talking to no one. So I do appreciate you being here, and co-creating this experience with me. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your arguments. Thanks for triggering me a little bit. I'm just kidding. I was only getting triggered when I noticed that people weren't actually listening to what I was saying. They're just kind of like telling me what they think. But I hope this was helpful to some degree. I hope I've helped somebody here. I hope at least one person got help from this. And yeah, the point is to be healthy. The point is to understand the medical medium info, because that's the best way to be healthy by far. And I know it sounds ideological or cultish when I say that, but consider the alternative perspective that what I'm saying is actually true, and you wouldn't know unless you check. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. I appreciate your presence, and I'll see you in the next one, okay?